home and do it and bring it back. But it is for everyone who is here. And I know, and we all know, there are people in every one of our buildings who are not going to vote for that particular reason. They cannot get out and get the ballot or get the absentee ballot that they need to vote. But I think and if the AR can't do it in your building, then it is up to each one of us to make sure that the people within your building has the opportunity to vote.
That's why I think they should mail.
Let's move on. Let's move on to another topic. Excuse me. How many we have in our community? Many walkers. What are your feelings concerning an asphalt walking path around golf holes 3 and 4? Right now, only half of Heather Gardens residents have a golf/walking path that connects them to all areas of Heather Gardens, including the clubhouse. So what is your position on completing that with walking path along holes 3 and 4?
I have a comment on that. I am very much in favor of having walking paths. We are a community, a retirement community, age-restricted community. A lot of us walk. A lot of us would like not to walk on the streets. And so it would be nice if we could have walking paths that we felt safe walking around just the whole area and not just a few holes on the golf course in a few areas.
Anybody else?
I think that's pretty much a uniform opinion.
Can't hear you.
Got to talk louder or closer. No.
I said that's pretty much a uniform opinion of everybody here. A lot of people you see, I happen to live in building 204 on the first floor, and I see people walking by 6 o'clock in the morning. I think a walking path would be a great advantage for everybody.
I agree.
I feel we do have walking paths, maybe not next to the golf course, but I believe there are sidewalks all around.
What I think they're referring to, Ruth, is that you have asphalt walking paths on 7 of the 9 holes, and on holes 3 and 4 that you do not
I
have.
understand that, and I live close to the 3rd hole, and I personally like seeing the green instead of asphalt.
That's right.
I'm a very avid walker, and certainly it's one of the highlights of my early morning and late night is to go around Heather Gardens. I would obviously support addition to the path. However, I would like to see how it might fit in with the budget. I'm particularly interested, I'd rather have a roof than a walking path. I also think that since we have these very wide streets, that there's probably room for a bicycle path. I notice there's a lot of bicyclists here as well. It's not my thing. And to make walking safer, I really think we need to take a look at traffic around here and how the speeds are and why we have a passing zone and a 25-mile-an-hour. You know, there's just some things that don't seem very friendly to walkers or bicyclists.
That's it. Let's move on. This is for all the candidates. Probably a nod of the head, yes or no, probably do on this one. Are the candidates full-time residents of Heather Gardens?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to be.
That's what I would think. Craig, there's one for you here. You know what? It goes to the restaurant, but it goes to a different portion of the restaurant. Heather Gardens loaned the restaurant $200,000, then dissolved the LLC before being repaid. Shouldn't the LLC declare bankruptcy in order to repay Heather Gardens?
One correction, there was a $100,000 loan, and then there was another amount of $100,000 that was
Line of credit.
line of credit, yes. We consulted with our attorney, and he said that we should could dissolve the LLC within the next few months, change the liquor license over to Metropolitan District, and we will negotiate with Metropolitan District as far as the how we're going to handle the loan on the P&L.
Anybody else? Okay. Mel? Mr. Goldberg, we have a question for you, sir. If you are elected, how do you plan to fulfill your duties as a director when you are absent a great deal of the time? Just give him a chance to explain.
My travel plans have been changed because of this. My traveling companion is leaving in November. I will be gone from the middle of January to the end of February. So I will be gone 5 to 6 weeks at most. And we're not going to the moon, we're just going to Palm Springs. So I have a computer, I have a cell phone, and I can fly back from Palm Springs to Denver on Southwest Airlines to be here for the meetings. But I'll only be gone for 6 weeks.
Thank you. Mr. Baldwin, we have something for you. At the restaurant forum last year, you were very confident $100,000 would be sufficient to get the restaurant to the point where it would support itself. They want to know where you feel the reasoning went wrong.
We had a little glitch to start with. We hired Tom Lucas, and he proceeded to spend quite a bit of our money, and we were in the hole to start with. We were promised from the previous manager that there were $38,000 worth of Christmas parties booked here, and we paid him off accordingly, and we ended up with $12,000. So we had a bad start for the new year. Tom Lucas was here for less than a month, and then we hired Kevin. Might state that Kevin and his wife Lynn are moving here on the 28th, as they're planning on staying here quite a while. So.
Okay. Craig, you're batting 1,000 here. I'm going to read this question. I think we've already...
How many piles have you got?
It's starting to get a little larger. This question is, how much does the restaurant cost us? Why do we continue to pay for it? Why is the board trying to contract out the restaurant? I think you've all thoroughly covered that. Some of you have been critical of the board's actions. What would you do differently? Please don't tell us that what you would not do, but if you are elected to the board, what would you do differently than the current board?
Can you hear me? I'll tell you what I would do.
Can't hear.
I would consult with the majority of the residents before I started something which would affect drastically our mode of living, the rules under which we live, and our financial background. I would like to say at this point, regarding the declaration, we went to court. I have repeatedly asked how much that lawsuit cost us. I have yet to receive an answer. I'm sure that no attorney, that was in May, this is September. I am sure that no attorney is going to sit on his bill from then until now. We should get an answer for how much that lawsuit cost us. I know that the judge in the hearing itself, for that hearing, did not award attorney's fees to either side. But what the initial draft to go to court cost and how much Mark Payne's firm cost us, we still don't know.
I'm listening. member, I will listen to you.
I believe that there needs to be communication, that I hate to use the word transparency, but I believe that that word needs to be used, and I believe that we need to be able to ask questions and get answers and understand what is happening at Heather Gardens in a very open manner.
Here, here.
By the way, that leads into the next question, which was transparency. Somebody had asked, what would you do to improve that? And we've heard from Linda.
I would like to address that. I got an email last week and was told that at a meeting the evening before, someone stated that there were secret changes to the 2014 budget and they were secretly preparing the 2015 budget. That's the farthest from the truth. We had 4 meetings on the 2014 budget, 2 on the board of directors. They were open meetings, 1 at structure maintenance and then 1 at budget and finance. There was nothing secret about it. We decided that we couldn't complete the project, do the renovation on parking structure 2 because of the hail damage. We had to protect our interest in that. So we postponed that till next year. And the board of directors instructed structure maintenance to come up with projects that we were going to have scheduled for 15 and 16. And the $500,000 renovation of parking structure 2 was substituted with, well, let me finish my sentence, was substituted with $300,000 worth of other projects.
Anyone else?
I agree that communication, two-way communication, is a significant problem. I think we need to think more about education. Education is not indoctrination. It's not presenting one side of an issue. Education is presenting and making opportunities for all sides to speak and come to some conclusion about what we need to do. So I think we need to, as a board, if I'm on the board, do a much better job of making information available. And not only making it available, but listening to those who want to make comments and welcome, and I would welcome, opposite points of view, including from my own.
What I would like to see as a board member, I would like to see that residents become more involved in coming to the committee meetings and the board meetings, but I would like to see that what is presented in the meetings is not just the basics and it has numbers like PM2-1 and we're going to vote on this, and the people in the audience are thinking, what is that? Again, that's education, that's communication. Someone needs to say, this is what we're speaking about, just plain and simple, so that people don't feel like they're being left out.
I'll make this real quick. I think that the budget is the area that needs the most transparency, and I think we should have more voting by the people on what's going to happen to our money, because they seem to treat our budget like an open-ended ATM machine, spending money here, there, everywhere. We need to have more input, whether it's voting or whatever is decided on, so that this money is not that easy for them to get their hands on. Thank you.
Can we move on here? Why is there no insurance on our buildings for roof repairs? And explain in using the impound fund how money will be repaid and how long it will take. Craig, you probably have a lot of input.
Probably me. What was the first part of that?
Well, it was, why was there no insurance on the roof repairs?
The insurance company insures roofs, buildings up to 15 years, and we have 30 and 40-year-old buildings. The impound fund will be paid back by in the next few years. We were going to do the roofs 3 and 4 a year, so that'd be about 3 or 4 years. And we have already budgeted that, projected that for those, and then be paid back as we get to those years. The capital reserves have already been allocated for the buildings.
Okay. For all of you, please tell us what you have done to help in the governance in your own building or neighborhood. I'm assuming they're talking AR, AAR, or other civic duties in your own neighborhood, your building, for anyone.
I'm chairman of the social committee in my building.
I am secretary in CB5, and I'm also on their telephone committee that we use to try and reach whenever it's necessary.
I have worked on social activities in my buildings.
I was AR of our building long before you lived here. And I was also president of the ARO.
I try to make all of our new residents feel welcome, introduce myself so they don't feel like they're moving into a place that is a secret. I'd like them to know that we're there, we'd like to meet them, and please get involved and let us know if we can do anything for them.
Cover it, Bruce.
My primary responsibility in my building is to haul chairs, change light bulbs, just about anything that I'm told is needed, I hop right to it.
You don't need a maintenance person in your building, that's true.
That's right.
Light bulb screwing in is about the extent of my mechanical skills.
Well, I worked on the committee in my building to refurnish our lobby, and everybody seems to really like it and feel that we did a good job. And I've also helped with some of the social things that have gone on in the building. I initiated just having a coffee on our own floor, like every other month, so that we can just get together and just have fun and have coffee just on our own floor, in addition to what the building does in social committee things, the holiday parties and other variety of different parties that we do have.
I just need to add, Bruce has a honey-do list for his building.
Mary, did you have something?
I just basically help the AR out whenever she needs me.
This is for all of you folks up there. If you are a director, you will chair a committee. How do you think you should vote as a board meeting, when you come to a board meeting? Should you support the recommendation of your committee? Or if you, as the chair, disagree with that decision, how would you vote?
We're not robots. We have our own opinion. Simply because you're chair doesn't mean you have to go along with the decision of the committee. You're entitled to express your opinion, and as a matter of fact, you should express your opinion. Perhaps the majority is not always right, but it's always the majority.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think the board ought to know your opinion and the committee opinion if they're different.
That's what I was going to say, is to express both, but as a board member, you vote as a board member.
I agree with Mel, majority rules.
Okay.
I agree with Linda that we all express our opinions and that we all are part of the solution.
Okay. We've kind of gone through this one, asking which committees of the HGA or HGMD boards you've served on. If anybody wants to talk about that, they can.
I was a member of the Civic Affairs Committee.
Anybody else on any committees?
I tried to get on the Budget and Finance Committee, but I was not accepted.
I was on the audit committee, and plus also the restaurant subcommittee.
Anybody else? Okay. This one I'm not quite sure how to direct it. It says for everybody. Is it ethical for a director and staff members to go on an out-of-state trip and the expense be paid by potential contract bidders?
No. That is not an acceptable in any business that you have. And the federal government has even cracked down on that, to where representatives and contractors cannot take people on vacations anymore or take them to dinners. We couldn't even have pencils and papers that had the names of the companies because we may be swayed by that. So no, I don't believe that that's a thing that should be done. That's not on our dime.
I absolutely agree, and that's what's wrong with Congress and the lobbyists by them.
Is this to all candidates? Sounds like a no-brainer. Will you commit to attending board and committee meetings if elected? Move on. To Mr. Goldberg. Mel asked, did you, on behalf of your group, petition the court for $3,450 from Heather Gardens for payment of your legal fees?
I didn't understand your question, please.
It was, did you, on behalf of your group, petition the court for $3,450 from Heather Gardens for payment of legal fees?
I did not. That was my attorney's claim, not mine. He's entitled to get paid. The court said neither side gets paid. That ended the matter.
For all the candidates, if elected, you'll be required to chair a committee. Which committee would you be interested in chairing?
That's up to the president. He or she assigns that job. I would like to be structure major next year.
I understand that we are given some choice before an assignment is made. And in general, I've always favored being on whatever the most undesirable committee is. That's the one I like to go to.
I think we all know which one I want. Sorry, Winnie. Budget and Finance.
This is for Bruce Jones. Why do you feel you're qualified to serve as a director if you have attended few board meetings and few committee meetings?
Well, I think in my opening presentation I gave some evidence that I think I have the qualities that are needed. While I've served on boards in other organizations, I've successfully worked on committees in other organizations, I think I explained that I have some skills that I believe would be useful to this board. So I think I would be qualified and have the... what was the final part of that question?
Wow. They're just basically asking if you have not attended so many of the meetings for board of directors or whatever.
That's sort of one of the problems that, for example, Mr. Obama had. He had never been president, but he still got the job.
this is for everybody. As a board member, what would you do about the health and nuisance problem caused by the geese on the walks? Have a hunting party? Let's move on. Unless somebody's got an answer.
Get the ASPCA coming.
Okay.
We could actually have a roast goose special at the restaurant.
The question is asked for all of you. When we overpay on our condominium fees, we should receive a credit on the following year's condominium fees. What about people who underpay?
Well, I think they should get a bill.
And they do. That's what happens.
Except it's not real clear in my mind if the way the system is going to work now. That's one of the things I'd like to, and I would be talking with the directors about.
Well, one thing that comes out of this, the question really begs another question, which is, right now, if you folks overpay, you do get a credit back, but that is ending. You're not going to have that coming in the future. It's just going to be rolled onto next year's budget, and your money will be rolled into that budget. So that's kind of a little bit different proposition. Mr. Goldberg, we don't see the necessity for change, whoever we is out there. We don't see the necessity for change. We're very happy here. Would you elaborate on what you want to change? What needs to be changed?
This has never been a
Talk
personal
in the
thing
microphone.
with me.
Can't hear you.
I said, this has never been a personal thing with me. There are provisions in the proposed amended bylaws that I personally object to. One was which was discussed at the thing this morning. If you are, quote, not in good standing, you're not entitled to vote. And I tried to explain to the board that sometimes not being in good standing is a result of some type of legal action, and therefore you refuse to pay until that action has been decided. According to the proposed bylaws, you would not be able to vote. Now, if you're simply in arrears because you don't want to pay, that's a different matter. But there are circumstances. May I continue?
No, I'm afraid not. What is your opinion, all of you, about taking a survey and then using it as a vote once the survey opinions are tabulated?
I think that, we've gotten the results of that in a recent survey. So many people didn't understand the difference between a vote and a survey. And so many people said they didn't get their survey questionnaire, and others just plain didn't bother to answer.
Maybe I can clarify a little bit. There were two major surveys that were sent out. One was on the Communications Technology Committee, which Craig Baldwin chairs, and the other survey dealt with the smoking issue. So I think that's probably what these folks are talking about. Nothing's been decided on smoking, and the CTC is still coming to grips with what their total notion is and what they need to do. So really nothing has been voted on any of those issues.
That's what I was going to say, that if I understood the question correctly, that a survey is not a vote. It's just taking an opinion, but it's not a vote.
The question here is for all of you. Do you think the residents should have a discussion period before the board votes on any motions on their agenda?
I think that